So this funny-looking fellow here is named Nate Duke, and I had the good fortune of not having friends after I'd lived in the suburb for a couple years. So when we went into high school, I didn't really have anyone to talk to first day in the hallways, like, how was your summer, friends? And he had the good fortune of having moved to that town like 2 days before and having a real excuse to not have any friends. And Duke and Becker are sort of alphabetically close, and we didn't know that yet when we both sat next to each other on the bleachers in gym class while everyone's like catching up on their summers. And he was wearing a t-shirt that said Barney Sucks, and he had a backpack that had all kinds of stuff written on it with whiteout marker, and I didn't know what that stuff was, but I would later learn they were bands. I thought he just knew that they were giants, or that they might be, and that he wanted to warn people. I thought that was awesome. And he was also into comic books and like a bunch of nerdy shit. And I've known him for like 20 years. He's one of my best friends. Bananas. Here's Nate Duke.
Hey, seriously, give it up for Shane. This place is amazing. Okay, I told this story at the first Farmhouseconf. I'm going to tell it again. This is a story about the time I thought I was going to die. Thought. So it's the 4th of July weekend, 2009 in Portland, Oregon, and it was like a crazy heat wave, 108 degrees, and I had the flu, and I had been sitting at home in bed, feeling miserable, watching Netflix, just being pathetic, and I was home alone. It was 2 weeks before I was going to get married in Wisconsin, and my soon-to-be wife Ingrid was in Wisconsin getting everything ready for the wedding. And all of a sudden, I got to go to the bathroom. So I get up, walk into the bathroom, sit down, and my face is getting really, like, sort of tingly, like, and my hands are getting kind of tingly. I feel a little dizzy. I'm like, ooh, okay, I stood up too fast. I need to take some breaths here. I'm kind of breathing, and I'm kind of, moving my hands like this, trying to get some feeling back into them, and all of a sudden, I can't really, like, bend my fingers anymore, and they're kind of just, like, straight and shaking, kind of, and I'm trying to open them up, and they keep snapping closed, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And then, it's like both hands, right? And I'm trying to kind of push them open, and they're just, like, snapping closed, and I'm like, this is really freaking me out. And my toes are starting to curl in, and now my hands are starting to curl in like this, and I'm like, what in the fuck is happening to me? This is really bad. I need to go lay down. But I'm sitting on the toilet, and okay, so I try to get up, but my hands are like this, and they don't work anymore, and I'm trying to pull up my underwear, and I'm like, it's just not working, and so I'm kind of trying to walk into the bedroom, and I'm afraid I'm not going to make it, and my limbs are curling in, and I kind of throw myself up onto the bed. I collapse on the bed, if you will, and at this point, I'm like a beetle that's dying. I'm on my back, and my limbs are all up like this, and I'm writhing around, and it's really painful. All the muscles in my body are just tense, and I'm sure I'm going to die. I need to call 911. This is 2009. I have a shitty flip phone, and I can't open it. My hands are like this, and I can't open my phone, so I kind of hold it between my claws and crack it open with my teeth, and my vision is like blurring, and I'm like, fuck, and I see the green button. I just like push the green button, hopefully I'll call somebody. The green button calls the last person that I called, and it was Ingrid. And Ingrid's like, hey, baby, how's it going? I'm like, I'm fucking dying, help me! I'm screaming, and I'm freaking out. And she's like, oh, okay, stay calm. She's a nurse. She's like, stay calm, okay. And she's like, hey, you over there, give me your phone. I need to call our neighbor. So she calls her neighbor, and she's talking me down. She's like, okay, can you do this? Can you feel this? And I'm freaking out. I'm screaming. I don't know what's going on. Our neighbor comes, and by the time she gets there, it started to sort of reverse itself, and I can kind of straighten my arms, then my fingers can kind of bend, but at this point, I'm dead. Like, I can't do anything. All of my energy is completely zapped and gone. So our neighbor, Monica, drives me to the emergency room, and I had what was called an extreme vasovagal episode. So normally, if this sort of thing happens to you, your body is like, oh, this is bad, and you pass out, and then you wake up and you're totally fine. But for some reason, my body wouldn't let me pass out. So it was like this crazy perfect storm of all these things. I had the flu. It was 108 degrees. I was dehydrated. I was malnourished. I stood up too fast, and I bared down to take a shit. And all of those things just caused this craziness in me. And while I was writhing around, I had the craziest thoughts were going through my head because I thought I was going to die. Number one, I was really worried that Ingrid was going to be furious at me if I died 2 weeks before we got married. I was really worried about that. And the other thing was that I was worried that if for some reason I managed to survive this thing, that somehow, because I survived, I would like find Jesus, and I was thinking of how embarrassing that would be for me. It would just be so embarrassing. Anyway, I'm really glad I'm still alive. Thank you all.
Thanks, buddy.